Tampa Bay. We're going to talk some Lightning. We're going to open up some sports cards. And we're going to talk basketball. You're in the Sports Lounge.
And now, you're tuned into Tampa Bay's RBLR Sports.
What is good, Tampa Bay? My name is Eureka Wheeler, and you are in the Sports Lounge. It's been a minute since we've done this. I invited some of my friends, some people you might know from the RBLR universe, to talk a little bit of basketball, because it's the one sport we don't get to talk about, because we don't talk Orlando Magic basketball because they're Orlando, and Orlando might as well be wiped off the face of the planet. But
wow!
But to help me talk about basketball that actually matters, teams that actually matter, I brought in my friend Musab Tariq. What's good, Musab? How you doing, big guy?
Not much. Doing well. Thank you for having me on this pod, as always. And yeah, man, I'm really excited to be talking about some basketball with the boys, just because, we don't have a team in Tampa. So yeah.
Well, he doesn't have to sweat it, but the next two guys do have to sweat if they're going to be in the playoffs. First will be my man Zach Blaine, repping his Heat. What's good, dude?
Yeah, Zach Blaine from Orlando. Just like to point that out.
Sucks.
A huge character.
It just moved down a notch, apparently.
Yeah.
Like just
technically from St. Pete, so that's pretty close to Tampa.
I'm good with that one.
Lived 90% of my life in Orlando.
We're good with St. Pete.
Now
explains a lot.
So we can't hate too much. Yeah. But yeah, no, what's good, man? I haven't done this since last year. Playoffs. Yeah.
Last year, yeah.
Yeah, man. And keeping the vibes going, man. We had to have a little bit of that jambalaya. We had to have Carter Brantley in the building. What's good, man? How your Pellies doing, brother?
Oh, probably not well. I don't know. I'm gonna go watch the game or whatever. But yeah, I'm actually in Biloxi, Mississippi right now, and that's actually only like an hour away from New Orleans where they're playing. And I checked tickets, and they were like $10 a piece. It was disgusting.
I would have been there, brother.
We should have road tripped this.
I know, yeah. I was like, wow, this is an NBA play-in tournament game, and like no one cares, and like rightfully so. Like I'm not trying to like I wouldn't spend money on that game either, but it was depressing. But I'm excited as hell to talk some basketball because there's other teams. There's a lot of exciting stuff going on.
Well, let's do this. It's not an in-depth, super analytical discussion, but these three gentlemen are the people that I know the most that do love ball. They do love this time of year. It's the best time of year for basketball. So, Musab, your team is the Phoenix Suns.
Yes, sir.
So I kind of wanted you to present to the class. Maybe we'll just go around to everybody. Present where do you think the Suns are coming into this playoff? And I guess maybe an overall feel of what their ceiling is in the playoffs here.
Ooh, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, honestly, as of right now, I'm not super optimistic about the kind of playoff picture for the Suns.
Okay.
Listen, what I will say is, look, we got a little all-star kind of trio going on with KD, Bradley Beal, and D Book. All right. And our supporting cast, they have their good days and they have their bad days. So that's the kind of thing for me is, I don't know, it's kind of like a hit or miss situation. What I will say though, is the Suns have been doing pretty well, especially this month so far in April. So that is something nice, but, I don't know. I think it's going to be a battle for sure against the Timberwolves, and ceiling wise, I wouldn't be surprised if we go out early just because of, I don't know. Yeah.
Your ceiling is the first round exit.
My ceiling, yeah. I hate. I want to be realistic as well, just because this team is not. Yeah. This team. I don't think it's gonna be a sweep. I think it's gonna be a dog fight for sure. I'll tell you this. I think this Timberwolves. I think the Wolves and the Suns are gonna battle out for sure. At least 6-7 games.
Yes.
At least 6, maybe 7. Okay. But I don't know. I just don't think that. We're really gonna
like if they get out of the first round, you're like, that's good. If you anything more than that, and you're happy.
Anything more than that, I'm real happy just because of what we're dealing with. Yeah, I think some people in the past have been just so starstruck by the fact that we have Devin Booker and KD and Beal, but I mean, look at the rest of our guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
you guys, they ran an experiment. They gutted the entire team. You gave up a bunch of B+ guys to get an A+ guy, and it all kind of fell apart.
My only issue is, if one of our A+ guys goes off, then it's over.
Mr. Blaine, your Heat. Look, we I think everyone respects the Heat. They're rough and tough. Great coaching. They play hard. It's just not as intriguing as they were last year, I guess, overall, but still pretty rough and tough. So, what are you feeling on the Heat going into this playoff?
I'm currently watching the game right now. We're handling Chicago pretty decently, but Chicago's not a great team. Right. It's hard to say with Miami. Even being a fan, it's like Jekyll and Hyde at some points.
Yeah.
I think right now, if we win this game, we're going on to play Boston, who was realistically the one team I didn't want to play in the playoffs because, I mean, as much as I hate Boston, that is such a good team. And we're going to go on and play them without Jimmy Butler, who is the heartbeat of this team. Because I believe it's an MCL sprain. They're projecting him to be out several weeks, so I wouldn't be shocked if we don't see him again this year. Our ceiling, it's one of those things. As Bam Adebayo hits a three, love to see that. It's one of those things where our ceiling could be the NBA Finals. Like it's a Miami Heat thing to do. But I wouldn't be shocked if it's a first round exit against Boston.
Which would not be, that'd be a good death. Okay. Like the Celtics are by far the favorite, I think, in the East.
100%.
If not the title, right?
They've got to be up there high. And with Giannis, I believe he's out right now too. They're saying they're going to start the series without him. I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't play at all in their series.
Yeah.
So I think at this point, Boston's the favorite to win. I mean, definitely win the East. I wouldn't be shocked to hear they're the favorite to win the whole thing.
Yeah. And Mr. Brantley, look, injuries kind of hit you guys earlier this week in the play-in game. So I think we're hoping you guys, I'm hoping that you guys make it in. But I was gonna say like. How did you feel about the team just 4 days ago versus what do you feel today?
I mean, that's the thing, man. Like Zion was so healthy this year. It was so fun. It was such a shock. It was
shocking.
It was like, hey, like, oh, okay, like this is cool. This is fun. And he dropped 40, and then bam, there's the wall. There's where it happens. Like I was waiting for it all year. I was waiting for something to happen where he comes up hobbled or something, or he misses a game, and sure enough, it happened, and it happened at the worst time. I mean, even with Zion and Brandon Ingram's on a minutes restriction with his hyperextended knee, which I unfortunately had to witness live because I went to that stupid Magic game. That's what I get for going to Orlando, honestly. But it's
you're lucky we're on.
I told you.
You told me. Yeah, it's I don't know why I do it to myself, but their ceiling is like maybe winning a few games in the first round, but I wouldn't be shocked if they fell to the Kings tonight. It looks like Zion's going to miss probably at least the first few games, if not just the whole series. They handle him with kid gloves constantly. I mean, you say like you said, like the Pelicans were good, and then the injuries hit you, and it's like, wow, I could play that tape over and over again every season, just like every year. Like it's frustrating, but
I lived that life. I guess I haven't said I'm a Denver Nuggets diehard, and we unfortunately, we're going to talk about the Nuggets a lot more in the next 10 minutes. So that's why I didn't nail you guys with it in the beginning. But we lived that. We call it purgatory. We had a great showing in the playoffs in the bubble, and then we couldn't do anything about it because we lost our injury-prone point guard for months and months at a time over the course of 2 seasons. Thankfully, we've got over that hump, but it sucks, dude, to be like, 90% of this team is awesome. It's just if we had the other 10% of this team, we'd be making playoff runs. We'd be getting places. So I do feel for you on that, man. It does suck, and it's because I'm hearing everyone jumping on this Kings bandwagon about they're fun and they're nice. Good. It's good to watch them play and everything. And I'm just like, they wouldn't even get this far if Zion was healthy. Like if they had to play Zion, I think you guys would have handled the Kings.
I don't know.
Well, who knows? Maybe they do without him.
I am on that bandwagon of the Kings are a fun team to watch, bro.
Okay.
Like I think I'm not saying they're gonna make a deep run.
Yeah.
But they're young, I think, is the key to that team. Like a majority of that team is young. I think they got like Harrison Barnes on that team still, which I didn't even know he still played. But it's gonna be a good team for a little while.
Yeah. Well, let's go around, guys. Let's go through the bracket and just kind of see where everyone's feeling on everyone going. So do you want to do East or West first? We got 2 West and 2 East guys on the call here. So
let's do West first. The West
we'll do West
on.
Okay.
Yeah, it's more competitive, I think, for sure.
It's a bloodbath. It's a bloodbath in the West. And so as confident as I am in the Nuggets, who I believe have the highest ceiling, I believe it's them in Boston that should feel the most confident coming into this playoffs. And Denver being the returning, defending NBA champions with that just a killer starting 5. Their big question is the bench. That really is going to be the 6th, 7th, and 8th guys in that rotation, depending on the matchups that we'll talk about here in a second. That will really determine if they can win another ring back to back. So I mean that's their ceiling, and that's to be honest. But they're also going to play the Lakers in the first round. So before we get to the Lakers, the Thunder are the number 1 seed, and the Nuggets were right there with them up until the last couple games, and we lost to Wembanyama and the Spurs, and it just gutted us right before the playoffs started. But I think it was the exact perfect thing that our coach needed to be able to, like, how do you yell at a team that the Nuggets tied their franchise record in wins? They did it without Murray for another 20% of the season or whatever in the beginning of the season, and they've done it while also trying to rest guys at the end. So it really does suck they don't have home court advantage. But the Thunder might have a Kings team or a Pelicans team that well, maybe the Kings. I keep trying to be nice to you, Carter, but if the Kings make it,
don't worry about it.
They could beat the Thunder. They're a very young team. They're very, very inexperienced when it comes to this type of playing. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, if not the MVP, a top 3 candidate for it. And again, they're a formidable team. But who do you guys have? Musaba, I guess. Who do you guys have? If it was, we'll say the Kings versus the Thunder, is that a big matchup for you, or are they just going to steamroll whoever?
No, I think it's a big matchup for sure. Okay. I know they split the season series with the Thunder as well. But the way the Kings have been playing, I you said already that they're a fun team to watch and all that. I don't want to just go on the high horse and just say, oh yeah, they're a fun team. But I love De'Aaron Fox, and I think Domantas Sabonis has just been an absolute beast these days. So I wouldn't be surprised again if
players out there.
Yeah, this guy's he's an absolute stud, and I think both of them it's going to be a bloodbath for sure. For sure. I think they're both going to give each other a hard time. I don't think it's going to be an easy sweep.
So your pick's Thunder then?
No, I'm sorry. I'm going Kings. No, I'm going Kings. I think Thunder are going to yeah. Yep.
Wow.
I think it's going to be I don't know why, but there's just something that just tells me that the Kings I don't think they have a super high ceiling either, but I think they get the job done. I think every single time in all these sports playoffs, there's always these teams that their role is just to knock out those kind of teams that have always been favored or something like that. We were looking at Oakland versus Kentucky in the March Madness and same thing. So that's what I see. I think the Kings got it.
Carter, that is a hell of a that's Denver Nuggets versus Seattle Seahawks. I can't even say the damn name right. The Sonics. Holy crap! That's Mutombo holding the ball as the glove and Kemp is going away. I know they're ripping your heart out soon, but do you think the Kings would? I don't think so. I disagree. I think the Thunder are going to hand whoever it is pretty 5 or 6 games at the most.
Yeah, it'll be the Kings. Like we can stop hemming and
Okay.
hawing about it. It's
All
all
right.
good. No,
My
but,
mama raised me right, Carter. I'm sorry.
right, for sure. I appreciate that. No, but I got OKC, but I do think it'll be a really fun series. Like I
Yeah.
do think it'll be a little more interesting than most 1-8 seed series are. Like the Celtics 1-8 is going to be, oh God, not entertaining at all. But this one should be.
Slow your roll, brother.
I'm sorry, man. A Jimmy Butlerless Heat, like,
Yeah.
what
Hey,
are we?
We'll get there. We'll get
Yeah,
there.
we'll get to that.
there.
But
We'll get there.
regardless, I think this is going to be an entertaining series. I think this is
Okay.
going to be a fun series. And if the Kings pull it out, nobody will be more thrilled than me. I would love to see a big upset like that. Same with the Heat pulling off the upset against the Celtics. I know we're jumping ahead, but no, I would be really excited to see the Kings win. But unfortunately, OKC's got a really deep team. Like I know we were talking about the Kings being young, but OKC, I mean, my goodness, Chet Holmgren, SGA, the Williams guy, the J-Dubs guys, those guys are really, really good. And it's going to be hard. I think Sabonis and Holmgren it's going to be a really fun matchup to watch, especially. But yeah, I got the Thunder in 5 or 6 games, give or take. So yeah, it'll be a fun series, but it's still the 1 versus 8. Like it's still tough.
Zach, I'll give you first crack at Clippers Mavs unless you have something else to add to the Thunder versus the 8.
Yeah, no, I mean I've got the Thunder winning it. I think it's going to be a 5-game series. I think the Thunder are the youngest 1 seed ever.
Yep.
So I think they're just going to go out and have fun. I don't think it's about getting the experience for them. I think it's just going out and they're playing on the house's money at this point. Like they've got all of them have years left in the league. So I think they're just going to go have fun.
So Clips Mavs, that's an interesting 4-5 matchup to me. That could be a very long series. What are you thinking?
It depends on what Clips team you're getting. That's kind of the thing. I think Dallas with Luka is just. I would love to see him go on a deep playoff run. I love Luka. I think he's kind of a douche, which is a good thing. So I'm taking Dallas in 6.
Okay.
They're both kind of unexperienced in deep runs with the teams they have now. I mean, I know that the Clips have Kawhi, but like outside of him, not very
comfortable though.
No, they're so disjointed, and I think that Luka's, and here's a bigger point that I wanted to make about Luka. He's got to start getting some scalps on that resume.
Yeah,
and he really does, and like I have to see him earn this like great status that he has in the league. I mean, he's a great player. Like that's not, but there's a lot of great players in this league that can't get it done.
It's one of those things like you're hella talented, but what have you done? Like you've got the scoring stuff, you've got the records as a rookie and stuff, but what have you done career wise to make me go, he's a Hall of Famer or he's the greatest to ever play that position? Like that's what I need. I need him to show me that he can take a deep run, lead this team. He's the leader of this team, like unquestionably.
Yeah, I'm definitely taking Mavericks over Clippers.
I got Mavs in 6.
Carter, is this all blasphemy to the Church of Luka?
Not. I mean, I do think that like Luka's a great player, and like I don't think he needs to have a playoff because like. Man, I mean, I don't like Kyrie Irving as a basketball player is really great and like he's really fun, but like him and Luka are both incredibly ball dominant and the roster gets real thin after those 2 guys.
Yeah.
And other than that Brunson year, I mean, he took him to the Western Conference Finals and all that.
Yeah.
The bubble year. I don't know. I think it's a little harsh on Luka, like he's still young and like the Mavericks 100%. Have been really bad. Like I love the Nuggets and Jokic has been surrounded by a great team, and that's not to discredit him. Like I'm not trying to compare the 2, but
they built it around him though.
Exactly. Like, they have a really good team around him as well. Like as well as Jokic is like the best player in basketball. Like Luka Doncic.
I'll get into that for sure.
Like Luka Doncic is up there, but he has a horrible team around him. But anyways, all that to say, I have Mavericks in 5. Kawhi's in knee stuff. Like, what do you do at this point? Like he can't play a whole season. Like he can't play into the playoffs. It's like the Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram thing all over again. So it's hard. Like if the Clippers don't have Kawhi, I don't really think they have much of a shot, and I don't think they're going to have Kawhi. So I'm going to go Mavericks in 5.
Musab, very quick. If you had anything else to add about Clippers, Mavs, but I really wanted to get your insight into Timberwolves, Suns. Like, how long do you think that series goes? Like that.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what I really want to know from you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going Mavs as well. Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, not Clippers, Suns, Wolves. It's gonna be this one's gonna be a dogfight for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have too much of an in-depth analysis either on the Wolves, but I mean, both of these teams are real good.
Timberwolves are
But
very scary, but
yeah, it's just it just comes down to what I've seen from the Suns is just that I see inconsistency. Okay, and I see when one man goes down, things kind of fall apart. Unless look, we got those star players, but all these other guys, are depth pieces or whatever. Then again, it comes down to them. So I don't think we have the greatest supporting cast either as well. But what I do like is when it comes to our top three just getting in those shots, especially getting those kind of mid-range shots as well. We're super good at that, I'll tell you that. But I don't know though. I think it's going to be tough for sure. I do think that the Suns are capable of beating the Wolves, but it's going to be tough. I don't know.
Yeah, Carter, I was going to ask you about Timberwolves have an amazing defense. I mean, it's
elite.
They've been a nightmare. They were a nightmare last year in the playoffs when the Nuggets played them in the first round, and they were the hardest team that played against the Nuggets, and they are not scared to play the top level teams. They with Gobert and sitting there in the middle, like they're not scared to play the toughest matchups. With Devin Booker, phenomenal scorer, Kevin Durant, Hall of Famer. I mean, it sounds silly to say this, but really, Phoenix can outscore the Timberwolves, and that might be the only way that they win is just to fire away, and maybe just hope that the Timberwolves aren't up to the task offensively versus their overwhelming firepower on offense. But I mean, dude, Edwards, and they got some good ball. The Timberwolves have some scorers too, man. I've been preaching there since last season. I've been saying, guys, they're going to be really good this year, and they were in the number one spot, or they were close to number one a lot of this year too. So how do you see the defense being a factor in this series?
Yeah, I mean, Rudy Gobert, perennial defensive player of the year. Every year, you can get away with a lot of blemishes with Rudy Gobert hovering around the middle. And Jaden McDaniels, I know he's the butt of a lot of those jokes where Anthony Edwards is like, they've got Kevin Durant, we've got Jaden McDaniels, and I know like people like to make fun of that clip, but he is a really good player. Like he's a good defensive player. So yeah, I wouldn't count the Suns out by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think the Timberwolves just have a better overall squad. Karl Anthony, I think the big X factor is Karl Anthony Towns. He's kind of disappeared in the playoffs at some points over his career. But he's coming off of an injury as well. But this year it feels different with Minnesota. It just feels like they're really starting to click. And I'm really excited to watch that series. I think it's going to be a really, really fun back and forth kind of event. But yeah, I'll probably take the Timberwolves in that just because their defense is going to play huge in the playoffs. You see it with the Heat every year. So I've got the Timberwolves in this series, but very narrowly. It's going to be a really tight contest.
I unfortunately, Musab, agree that the Timberwolves are going to take the series. Zach, I guess moving on to the Denver Nuggets versus the Lakers of Los Angeles. My only question is, how many games do you think the Lakers can win in the series?
None. The Lakers should not be in the playoffs. Like they're not a good team. I wanted so bad to get on here and talk trash about Denver, but they got the easiest first round matchup on either side of the
Heat.
We would have liked the Pelicans a lot too. We would have matched up really well against New Orleans as well.
Well, yeah, I mean either one that you matched up against, I think
Kings would have been a little weird, but because they could shoot from outside,
would have given you a little bit more of a run for your money.
It would have been tougher than LA. So you're right.
I think you guys LA
with Zion.
Maybe to the point where LA just gives up after the third game and are like, yeah, we don't. It's okay. White flag. We're done.
Carter, my question is, how many minutes do they play Anthony Davis against Jokic before they give up and try the Ruri Hachimura experiment or whatever the hell again?
I think a big thing we're discounting is Adam Silver spooning LeBron James.
I was gonna say that's the one.
I agree with you. It is a
The free throw differential.
It's in the back of my mind.
Yeah, the free throw differential that LA has over the past few seasons is disgusting.
Yes.
Like, it's one of the big reasons why I'm not like as big into basketball anymore. Like, it's discouraging. It's just really disappointing to have to watch, like, you know, LeBron Bond, whatever you want to, You Are My Sunshine, all those memes and all that stuff. Just like watching them go out there and get the whistle every night. So that's a big factor for me. Is just how the refs are going to play in this. But yeah, the Anthony Davis versus Jokic thing is going to be really interesting because AD had one of his healthiest seasons of the year this past year, but we said the same thing about Zion. And
he'll play one quarter, he'll give up a bunch of points, and they'll put someone else on him, and he'll have to help. That's
I mean, it's Jokic, like no one can defend him. So like,
for the sake of brevity, can the Lakers beat the Nuggets? Do we project them to beat the Nuggets?
Jose.
I think they can win one or two games.
They'll get one game, maybe just a little gentleman sweep.
Yeah, I don't even think they win one game.
Yeah, I mean, I think we sweep them. We've beat them 8 straight games, and it feels so good to do this. It's our blood. Well, we've always been the little brother in the. We've been held away, and now we're the big guys. So I guess we all have Thunder versus Mavericks in the second round.
Except for Musab. Musab's got Sacramento.
And Musab has so did the Thunder beat the Mavericks or the Kings?
Yeah, I think so.
I think the Thunder beat the Mavericks, yeah.
Okay. Ooh, so Kings could maybe make it to the Final Four.
Yeah, I mean, I think
if that's their matchup.
I think the Kings could beat the Mavericks. I don't know. It's a tough call. That's a bit of a close.
The Mavericks would be the Mavericks.
Well, it would be Kings Mavericks. I guess Mavericks would beat the Kings in that.
Right.
Scenario.
Yeah. That's kind of.
Yeah, I would go Mavs over Kings.
Okay.
Yeah, I would go Mavs over Kings as well, but Thunder over Mavericks.
I think Thunder beat anyone that comes into the second round against them.
I agree. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. Well, I guess then the biggest the Nuggets versus Timberwolves, a rematch. I believe look. Let me give them. I'll give them their flowers. It's just that this Nuggets team is. They're so much more defensively better than they were a year ago, and they didn't have to give up any of their offensive firepower to do it. And that's the biggest difference for me. That's why my confidence is very high on this team. I believe this would be a 6 to 7 game series, though.
Yep.
Yeah,
this would be the first adversity that they. Yeah,
I've got it 7 games, and then I don't even have who's winning it. I think 7 games. On the 7th game, you could flip a coin, and that's who wins this series.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And it's no disrespect to the Nuggets. Like they're a great team.
Yeah.
That's just how good I think. I think this is the worst matchup for you guys.
Okay.
I think they match up well on defense. I'm not going to say great on defense against you guys, but out of everyone else that's playing defense on you guys, I'd take Rudy Gobert on Jokic over anyone else in the playoffs.
Sure.
He put 40 on him the other week. and I think, well, I'm just saying, like, I agree with everything you said. Jokic is inevitable. It's and unfortunately, that's the best matchup. It is 100% the one dude that can do well, except Victor Wembanyama coming up in the future here, buddy. That guy's gonna be a beast.
The first team's ever gonna be relevant again, bro.
They need a point. They can get a point guard in this draft and figure it out. All right, so I guess Thunder most likely versus the Nuggets or the Mavs if they're there. Thunder Nuggets, I think, is not even as good of a matchup as the Timberwolves are.
No.
And the reason I say that is because now I'll finally get to my point about their team is that, like, Jokic, him bursting out as an all-time great player, and then they found the right pieces, the exact right pieces. Like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is the exact perfect 3-and-D guy to put in that. It's because they tried a bunch of different formations and it just wasn't really putting Gordon in there. And that's really where it gets to is the Thunder are good. And if you go, okay, you match Shea matches Jokic output. Okay, then you got Murray. Okay, maybe one of the other guys matches. Now we're getting to the Gordons, the Michael Porter Juniors, those are guys that I don't think you're getting now deeper into your fourth and fifth best scorers. That's where the Nuggets are just demonstrably better than the Thunder. But at this point, though, in the playoffs, how tired are the Nuggets? That's a huge question. They're getting all this time to rest right now while the play-in games are happening. It's the first time in a long time these guys have more than 5 or 6 days off. We didn't really get a chance to rest because we were trying to go for the 1 seed. It's we got nicked and banged up. I know everyone's got those injuries though. At this point, to get to the Thunder, that's really the only big X factor that I see of why the Nuggets wouldn't win in 5 to 6 games against them. But I said my piece. Musab, is that blasphemy?
No. I'm right there with you.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we'll go through the East. It won't be as much of a. We don't have to go as much in depth in the East, but I think Celtics beat the number 8. Do we all agree?
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
All right.
Hell no.
All right. Now, Cavs Magic.
Magic.
This is going to be on NBA TV because no one wants to watch this matchup. But I think it's going to be better than people expect, including myself. But Magic, I think, why couldn't they upset? Why can't they upset?
Yeah, why not?
Cleveland? There's no reason
Is it
to
an
be
upset? I thought the Magic were like the 3 seed, aren't they?
They're the 5 seed.
5 seed.
Yeah, Cavs are
Oh,
four.
yeah, you're
They're
right.
the 5 seed.
Oh yeah, no, Orlando upsets Cleveland.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I definitely.
Yeah.
I've got Cavs, but like either one of them are going to get absolutely rocked by Boston, so it doesn't really matter.
Agreed.
Look, I think Boston is a good team. They're a great team. Miami has Boston's number.
Ooh.
Telling you.
Mhm.
I don't know, man. I don't trust the regular season at all, and I definitely don't trust the Eastern Conference regular season.
I'm not talking about regular season.
And I don't trust the Heat without Jimmy Butler. Like, what are we?
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
We're up almost 30 points. We're up 27 points on Chicago right now.
Chicago is horrible.
Well, Chicago,
Chicago's a lottery pick team. Yeah,
Watch.
Chicago's not a.
Watch.
No.
I'm telling you, if Boston beats Miami, it's a 6-7 game series. If Miami wins, it's a 5-6 series.
All right. Hey, you got
you definitely did say those things. All right. Bucks Pacers though. I think this is worthy of some talk.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It just depends on Giannis's health.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Because
I'll go as far as to say if Giannis is out, I wholeheartedly believe Indiana sweeps the Bucks.
Ooh,
I don't know about sweep.
That's
but
bold.
I think the Pacers win that series.
The Pacers win the series. I agree with you.
Yeah.
The sweep is a tough one. That's a lot of
reliability on defense, and Giannis can make up for that. And without Giannis, I think that you got guys like Tyrese Halliburton that are gonna put in work, and I think Indiana takes that game.
Yeah, but without Giannis there, it's Dame time, and I'm like, I think that Lillard can make up for some of the
make it competitive.
Yeah. It wouldn't be a sweep. I'm not saying they beat the Pacers, but yeah, I mean, it's because I think that's part of their problem is they introduced Damian Lillard, and it's sort of like screwed up the mojo that they had going there.
Yeah,
and so it's one of these addition by subtraction. I know who I'm talking about here, but like. You only have one basketball, and now you don't have to worry about who the other guy.
You gave up the one of the best defensive guards.
They did the same thing that Phoenix did for sure.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
and now you're trading him to an Eastern Conference rival.
Yes,
he went to Boston.
Right.
So we're looking at that, and it's like, how did you possibly think you made your team better?
Yeah,
it's tough. Yeah, it's tough.
So yeah, I mean it's tough. But so the Knicks and the Knicks and 76ers are now. If I haven't looked at an injury report on Embiid, but he looked like he was clutching that. He was.
Yeah, it's tough.
He's clutching that knee brace a lot in that playing game. So. Yeah. This is another thing where I actually think that the 76ers can upset the Knicks. I like the Knicks. They're very defensive. They're very tough. I like them a lot. but I think the 76ers are a really bad matchup for them, and it's just because of Embiid's injury. While they're the 7 seed, they should probably be the 4 seed or 5 seed or something like that. Right. And it just sucks that it's this particular matchup. To me, I think the 76ers with a healthy Embiid beat the Knicks.
100% agree.
Yes, I don't know. I think with a healthy Embiid, I think it makes it a lot more complicated for the Knicks. I think when Julius Randle got hurt and went down for the season, it made the Knicks a better team.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're a better team without Randle. So,
and I think it's a 50-50 right now. Like, to me, it's a 50-50 series.
I can't.
That's
I want the Knicks to win because I hate the Sixers. Like, that's Miami. I hate as a Miami fan as the Sixers.
I would love the Sixers to make the championship. I'm just saying. For one reason.
That's fair. That's fair.
For one reason, I want him to get dunked on for 4 straight games by Nikola. But all right, so if we're agreeing that Celtics kill whoever it is out of the 4-5 matchup, then it just becomes Pacers versus Knicks or Pacers versus 76ers.
Oh God, I don't even know. That's all right. So weird.
I'm just gonna say Pacers Knicks. That's my thought.
Sure.
I'm gonna go Pacers Knicks, and I'm taking the Pacers from that.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm high on the Pacers, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
I'm high on the Pacers. With that being said, it's not like a high, like a confident high.
Okay.
It's more
a little buzz.
Say it again.
You're feeling a little buzz.
He's just a little tipsy. Yeah, he's just a little tipsy on it.
Like, I'm just starting to feel
hilarious.
That's hilarious. All
right.
It's. I don't know why. I think it's because I'm just a fan of Tyrese Halliburton.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I have faith in. As much as I hate to say it, because back in the day, that was one of our biggest rivals as a Heat fan was the Pacers.
Yeah.
But I high on that team this year.
Again, I would take 76ers over the Bucks or the Pacers. And Knicks, I think, would be kind of in the same boat too. Yeah. In my mind. Which is why I think the Knicks and 76ers might go 7 games because they know it's an easier round in round 2. In my opinion.
Yeah. I think I got the Knicks coming out of there, but who knows? If Giannis is healthy, then I have the Bucks. But yeah, it's tough with the Doc Rivers factor, and I hate that. I used to be a big Doc Rivers guy, but my goodness, he is just falling flat on his face all the time. And with Milwaukee, he's just been so weird. That whole situation with their head coaching and everything.
When he first started, and he's like, "I wish they would have given me some time to."
It's just,
they hired me in a weird time. Like, bro, you
got right.
It's like the East is very interesting, but for all the non-basketball related reasons.
100%.
Nothing fun. It's not really a fun, interesting.
Because then we basically go Celtics versus an injured Sixers, an injured Bucks team, or a overreaching Pacer team.
And the Celtics blow all of them away. So it just doesn't.
And I agree with you. It would be a monumental, catastrophic failure if the Celtics do not make it. If they can get past a tough Heat matchup in the first round, a crazy Magic run in the second round, and then to get one of these 4 teams that have injuries.
And I know I know Zach's upset about this. Let me make this clear. I think I speak for everyone. We would love the Celtics to lose.
Oh hell yeah! Then it'd be really crazy.
I wouldn't be surprised. It wouldn't be that shocking to me compared to you, Eureka. But
you see what I'm saying? I think this happens every time
with
the
Boston,
Celtics come in hot. Everyone goes, "Oh, they're gonna win it." The Celtics haven't won. Excuse my language. They haven't won shit.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah,
they're not.
Yeah.
They choke every playoffs.
Yeah.
And this team is better than they. I mean, this team is a better team.
Chris Stapps is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum, phenomenal.
Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown.
Holiday. I'm not saying this is not a great team. I'm just saying
They have to prove it. I agree. I agree. They have to do the work.
I don't know. They've made it to the finals. They've made it to the conference finals a bunch of times. Like,
when did they make did they make the finals last year?
They made it to the finals in 22. Like, I get it. Like, they didn't make
Who made 22?
Yeah, because they lost to the Warriors in 22. And then last year they made it to the conference finals, lost to the Heat. Then the Heat go to the finals. Okay. They lost a bunch of times to LeBron in the conference finals. Like, I don't know. I'm not.
Yeah, but it's because there's been 4 teams in the East for 20 years. So.
Right. Like, I don't know. Like, I get that Boston's kind of choked a little bit in big moments, but they've also made it to those big moments. Like, they haven't been like first round exits. Like, you want to talk about like a choke job, like the Bucks have choked, like Giannis got knocked out by, like, the Nets choked, the KD, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving Nets got out. I mean, good gracious, like, there have been some massive choke jobs. Absolutely.
My thing about Boston, I guess because I was going to say, if it's Boston, Denver, or Boston, who's Thunder in the, I mean, the Thunder are really the only, I mean, or maybe the Timberwolves, if they bounce the Nuggets. But if it's Nuggets versus Celtics in the championship, which is the favored matchup, the biggest problem I have with the Celtics, because we haven't really talked about the X's and O's part of their game, they just come out of the gate and they fire away. What the Nuggets were able to do, and some of the other teams that have beat them this year, if you can withstand that first punch, they falter. This is why I agree with the choking thing, is like, if you can just keep up with them and they're scoring, they rely a lot on the 3-point shot. And if you can take that away from them and or keep up with them, then they falter. They wilt away in a game. If they're a front running team, and most times they beat these teams. They come out, they chuck them up, they all go in, and then they get to rest the rest of the game. I don't think there's an Eastern Conference team that can keep up with that. Maybe they slow them down, but definitely the Nuggets or the Thunder, I think, are both teams that can withstand that sort of firepower. So
that's interesting.
As I cough here, but that's my tidbit on Boston. What I see is that if there's a team that can keep up with them in the first 20 minutes of the game, then you can just hang on. And a team like the Nuggets, which is the number one clutch team, their net rating in the clutch is the most. Their offensive rating is the best in the clutch. Their defensive rating has gone up into the top 10, if not top 5 in the clutch. That's a recipe for disaster. I think a Nuggets Celtics series would go 5 or 6 games, and 6 games if for some reason the Nuggets just get overblown in a game 2 or something like that. Or, well, I guess they wouldn't have home court. So if they lost game 1, and then came back and split the series and then came home and took them, or if they happen to lose game 3 or something like that, or, but that's kind of how I would see that series going is Nuggets, Nuggets beating them in 6, I'll say.
Yeah. I don't think the Celtics have much of a chance against Denver, but I do think they probably beat OKC. Just if OKC manages to get there, that's fantastic. But my goodness,
yeah.
I mean, their oldest player is SGA, who's 24 or 25 or whatever.
To me, I would have that as a 50-50 matchup for sure.
Right.
If it's Thunder, Celtics, yeah.
I'm right there with the 50-50 matchup. I'm confident that Denver makes it out as the Western Conference champ, but I would not be shocked if it were Minnesota.
Yeah, I like Minnesota a lot as well.
Yeah, I mean, they're the team I worry about the most. They're the team I worry about the most, for sure.
And I think the only team that matches up perfectly to beat the Celtics if they make the Eastern Conference Championship is the Nuggets, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like the other teams, the Wolves, I think is a 50-50 matchup.
Yeah.
I think OKC is a 50-50 matchup.
Yeah.
I mean, I think any other team from the West that, like, just strictly like matchup wise is a 50-50 shot against Boston.
Yeah.
I think Denver is a much higher, it leans more towards Denver in the matchup in that
if the Suns were able to blow away the Timberwolves in the first round and get by Denver in the second round, it would be because they're all scoring. That's just some ridiculous clip
for sure,
and they're just not missing.
Right.
Exactly.
And then from that point, it's like, okay, we're gonna have two teams that are just gonna be chucking up like shots.
Yeah, it's gonna be the highest scoring finals.
It'll be the highest scoring finals. Yeah, I agree.
I'll make sure to bet the over on that.
Yeah, all right. You should.
Well, all right. Well, like I said, I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, but I mean, I'm very, very confident in the Denver Nuggets, and I think that most people are coming around to that fact that they were the defending champs. They tied the record for their most wins in the regular season, and while knowing, because to be honest with you, man, Jokic has not played his A-level game, and I didn't want to come in here and just talk about my Nuggets all the time, but Jokic hasn't been in A game mode. Murray has not been in playoff Murray mode. They've had to draw this out 4 times. One was against the Celtics, who were on their 1 million game streak, and we beat them in Boston to end that streak. Another time was against the Lakers when it was on Kobe Bryant's statue night, and we ran them out of the gym in LA. And a couple times when it was a fight for the 1 seed against the I believe it was either the Timberwolves, and we had a crazy stretch at the very end of the year that we called Statement Week, and we played like all of the people that are in the playoff standings, and they came out of that with 1 loss. They lost very few games after the All-Star break, and I wish they were able to rest. That's the one big thing, is they did have to play some of these games to stay up in the 1. But I guess the shocking teams we talked about were the Timberwolves, I guess you'd call them. It'd be a kind of a shock if they made the championship. The Pacers, I think, is the team that shocked me the most, that we've said like can make a deep run based on the matchups. But are the Pacers the most unlikely team to make it? I guess the Phoenix would be the most unlikely to me that has a shot, but they have a buzzsaw.
Oh, yeah.
2 buzzsaws to get there. 3 buzzsaws if they get to the Thunder.
Yeah,
it's a lot, buddy. Well, Carter, who's your pick for most unlikeliest team that we've just crapped on this whole time that could still make it? I already know Zach, so
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like we've dismissed Cleveland entirely.
100%.
And I completely understand. Because even if they manage to duel it out with the Magic and make it out of that series, which is certainly not a given, then they have to face the Celtics. But they've got a pretty interesting team. Like they've got, the Mitchell Garland effect of it, or the Mitchell Garland of it all, and then the Allen and the Mobley. And I don't know, Mobley's taken a step back and everything, but they're still a talented team. Donovan Mitchell has still done some wizard crazy things in the playoffs. So I don't know. I don't want to completely discount the Cavaliers. I think Cleveland could maybe, in some really weird alternate dimension, maybe sneak out of the second round if they get really lucky. But Cleveland's probably the most unlikely, but also still kind of fun team for me.
Musab, who's your most unlikeliest underdog? Who's your Cinderella that we've just all discounted this time?
Oh man. I don't know, to be honest. I mean, you already said Suns. I would go Suns.
Do you think it's Phoenix? I mean, you think it's your boy?
Yeah, I would probably just go Suns if anything. I do like your points you made on the Cavs, but I'll probably just pick Suns.
Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, dude, you're not sounding very confident of getting out of the first round. So yeah, I mean, if they win on a deep run, I think you'd be very ecstatic about that.
Yeah.
Zach, why aren't the Heat winning the championship this year? I guess that I'm going to rephrase that question because I already know it's.
They are winning the championship this year.
Hey, I love it. Let's go.
I'm kidding. Realistically, do I think we have a chance against Denver? No. Like if another team makes it out of the West and we make it out of the East, then I could see us potentially winning it. I don't see us.
Other than the Heat, who are you looking at for the watch though? After
like my Cinderella story kind of a deal.
Yeah, sure.
Indiana.
Pacers would be a hell of a story.
I think the Pacers would be the most shocking out of the Eastern Conference, and I think that if they play their A game, they can make it out. It's just
right.
it's hard. It's very their way up is insane to me.
All right. Well, guys, thank you. If you've been listening to this, you could see Musab and Carter and Zach every week on the RBLR Buck Show. We are in full draft mode over there. They just had a mock draft that they did live, sharing the screen. You got to be in the war room with these guys, making the tough decisions. It was good. They fought about a couple guys. It was good. It was a nice spirited debate.
Yeah.
It felt like I was there. I felt like Light, if he watches this, we already know who we've called it. We already know who's going to go there.
Sure.
But thank you guys for joining me on the lounge this week. I love talking with you guys, and I'm glad that we got to share some basketball knowledge out there. So I hope all of your teams do well, unless they play the Nuggets. And with that, we'll see you. Take it easy, guys. Follow them, guys. You see their little things there. We're going to get into some more lounge action. But first, there's another way you can help out our podcast here, and that's by going to shop.rblrsports.com. Use that code LOUNGE, LOUNGE, for 10% off. That's right, LOUNGE, LOUNGE, gets you 10% off all of the stuff that we have inspired by your Bolts, your Rowdies, your Bucks, your Rays. We are trying to celebrate the fandom that is being part of Tampa Bay, right? So we've cooked up some designs. I really hope you like them, and you can pick different colors. For most of the shirts come in different, whatever color you want. So if you like black shirts or the team color shirts, we've tried to make the designs work for whatever style you're looking for. So again, head over to shop.rblrsports.com, use that promo code LOUNGE, and you're going to get 10% off everything. All right. We've talked a lot about the basketball playoffs, but there is tomorrow at noon, we are excited because the Battle of Florida continues. This time it is the next round in the playoffs here. I just want to go through real quick. The RBLR Lightning guys are the number one source of this. We released a playoff preview just a couple days ago on this YouTube channel. You can go back and listen to that. And I highly, highly, highly recommend that you do that, because all of our people that cover the Lightning, whether it's on TikTok or Instagram or Twitter or on this podcast every week, they are absolutely the best source and good conversation for that multiple different angles and different opinions, very opinionated people having a good go at it. So with all that aside, my personal feelings, I just kind of wanted to look at how the Panthers offensively and the Lightning offensively, we'll talk a little bit about defense and what I think an X factor is. So let's just start with us. The Lightning, we're a sharpshooting team. We live off the rush, and we make our shots at a very, very, very impressive clip right now. And that is all stemmed from one man, and that is the person that should be the MVP, and that is Nikita Kucherov. The Lightning heat map is basically wherever he sits on the ice, which is his side of the ice. And I mean, they're pretty spread out across everywhere. Braden Point scored a lot. Stamkos has been pouring them in. There's one way that Cooch got 100 assists, and that's because everyone on this team is a killer and can put it in the back of the net. But I'm really excited because since the trade deadline, the Bolts had a big hole in the front of their net, and they tried to fix that with my guy Duclair, and Duclair just kind of eats right in front of that net. He's super efficient. If he can get things off the rebound, if you can get him the puck in the middle of the ice, he is a deadly, deadly weapon, and one that was kind of sitting and rotting on a horrible team. Now he's right on the first line or in the top 6 somewhere in there, depending on the matchup. So very, very excited about that. And I think that, look, this team is being kind of looked at down on their 5-on-5 offensive rate, but in the playoffs now, they've made a lot of these adjustments. I'm really confident that they can take it to the Panthers. Conversely, the Panthers, they like to spray and pray. Basically, they live on the forecheck. They dump it in. They let it fly. And that's how they can create a lot of their opportunities to stay in the offensive zone, is that they're really good on the forecheck. but they shoot it from everywhere. I mean, let's just be honest. They're trying to chuck up as many shots at your goaltender as possible. They shoot from wide out. They shoot from both sides of the net, and they got two guys up front that are going to poach. Matthew Tkachuk and Sam Reinhart. They're going to poach. They're going to eat on either side of that net. And if the Lightning aren't able to get those guys away from Vasilevsky, and it's going to be tough to do it because that's their bread and butter. Conversely, defensively, that goes into, does this defensive system work, man? We started out shaky as all hell. We were ready to throw Blashill, the coach, off of the Skyway Bridge, but it's now been decent. Joe Zamataro of our Lightning podcast has kind of turned me around on this, showing the tape, showing the film on the podcast on how they're building the house. That's what he was saying. They're building that house. They're working the sides. They're working on the angles, and they're showing much better improvement. Now that the defensive intensity will be 11 out of 10 in the playoffs, that's a huge question mark. Who are the Lightning going to be? But the other question mark, and this is weird to say because he's a Hall of Famer and he's probably the greatest goaltender of all time, and that's he will be one day. Andrei Vasilevsky it is sort of a question mark because he's been shaking off the pain, and really this is it. If the whole regular season was just a warm up to get to the tournament, we're here now, and now we need if not fully healthy, a somehow stepped up Andrei Vasilevsky. If he shakes off the pain, because I know he's fighting it. I mean, he had back surgery. let's not mince words. I'm not saying he's lazy or anything like that, but the reality is he has been slowed down a little bit this year. We've seen the peaks though. Now it's time, and he wants to play every game, and as long as he says he can go, I believe Cooper's going to put him in there. I probably would too. But if there's going to be a cup run, if there's going to be a deep run, it's going to stand on the back of 88. And the good news is that 88 gets better as the lights get brighter. In fact, I'm proud, looking through the stats, you digging in here, the penalty kill has been a really improved unit, and that's mostly because of Vasilevsky being able to deflect the shots, being able to make the saves, and able to make a run there, to create more chances on there. For the Panthers defensively, they're a pretty leaky unit, and that's why I'm kind of confident in our offense. There's going to be a lot of great chances for the Lightning, but their goaltending has been on a tear too. Sergei Bobrovsky has been really good, and even Anthony Stolarz in kind of mop up spot duty. They've put up great performances to get them to these playoffs, and I would be remiss if I didn't give them their props, because really the Lightning's key to victory is get more shots up. I mean, they're very efficient with their shooting. I think they need to get more shots. Obviously, we've always harped on their face-off percentage. That's what's going to lead to more shots. But the real X factor in this quick analysis is the power play. The Panthers are not the best at converting their own power plays. So if we get into a situation where we're killing a penalty, Andrei Vasilevsky has proven that he's still the man when it comes to that, especially this year. And Florida's not very good at converting their own power plays, but the Bolts are absolutely killer shorthandedly. We've seen a few shorthanded goals just in the past few weeks alone. We are lethal on the breakaway, on the penalty kills. So every little bit matters in the playoffs. Okay. We cannot overstate this. I believe this is going to be a very good series, a very long series. I believe it will go 6 games. Look, call me a homer. I think the Lightning can beat these Florida Panthers, and I think it'll take 6 games to do it. But I haven't really gone around and seen a lot of the previews, but I'm assuming we're the underdog. I mean, we're the 7 seed, the wild card, the first wild card coming in here. But if Vasilevsky's not hurt the first few, bunch of weeks during the year, maybe we pick up a few more points, and now we're in that hunt. I mean, we were chasing Toronto for the third spot in the division. So every team is good in the NHL playoffs. Every team is tough. Every team is a hard out. I think the Lightning, I think we've prematurely been called old. We've prematurely been called slacking. And while the metrics are showing that, look at these guys, the time is now, their window is like this much open. There's a little bit to be said about the regular season versus the playoffs, and some stats carry over, but this particular team and their experience at their core, they've all been here before. They know what it takes. They might have known what they could have let off the gas in the regular season to get to this point. It just needed to be good enough to get in there. And when they needed to at the very end of the season, they went on an amazing run to kind of solidify that wild card. And then I think they kind of let up the gas a little bit. Now it's time, full go. And when the Lightning are at full go, they are a very dangerous team. Florida deserves their flowers, but I think we can get these guys in 6. So let's end. We got a couple more things to do. First, let's get to a fun thing we like to do, and that is open some sports cards here. We'll switch this up. I got some baseball cards here that we're going to open. I've got some Topps 2024 hanger packs, and then a brand new, I just saw these coming out in the Walmart, was the Heritage Baseball. So it's our first look at these cards here on Worthless Sports Card Breaks. Hope you guys have fun opening these cards with me. Let me know, man, if you get a nice hit or something, holler at us at RBLR Sports. We got Michael Garcia, Tyler Soderstrom, Daniel Bard in these ugly, I'm from Colorado, and these are they look like the license plates that are in Colorado. Trent Grisham, Henry Davis rookie, Justin Steele, Clark Schmidt, Grant Harwig, Julio, J-Rod, Mauricio Dobon, Brendan Donovan, that's nice, Nick Robertson, Dansby Swanson, Nestor Cortez, who the Rays are actually playing today as the Rays are in the Bronx. My kid doesn't like the Yankees, obviously, on the other side. National League leaders card. Those are kind of cool. Salvador Perez. Here's our first Ray of the pack, and that is Yandy Diaz, rounding third, going home. What do you guys think about this artwork? This I'm a big fan of the. Obviously, look at the artwork of this show here is like kind of brick walls and neon lights, and so that's pretty cool. Nick Pivetta. I think the biggest thing that was weird to me is this gradient, this black to white gradient. But I dropped something here. Maryland's. Here's Luis Robert. Cool action shot of him catching it at the wall. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Oh, we do have a Brad Keller. Just a little parallel here. James Outman walk-off double in these little breakout hits. Ooh, for the personal collection, a Ken Griffey 1989 style card. Hell yeah. Here's Ronnie Mauricio, stars of MLB. Juan Soto, stars of MLB. Some league leaders. Some Angel team cards. Adley Rushman. Andrew Monasterio. Kybert Ruiz. Alika Williams, Pirates rookie. Sean Murphy. Devin Williams. All right, that was pack number 1. We got a couple more to go. Love it that we got the Yandy Diaz. Here's league leaders. Here's the Rays team card of Randy with everyone. Oh, dude, this is so cool. See, this is what's great about Worthless Sports Cards is this card by itself is worth, nothing. Maybe $1 or something like that, right? Maybe you can find someone. But to me, I'm going to keep this. This is a really cool picture. I might use this as a bookmark. I might just keep this around. It's really cool to look at. So we love it. Hunter Green. Here's Brandon Marsh. Christopher Morel with the future stars. Like the shiny future stars. I like that. That's cool. Dalton Varsho. Dominic Canzione. There's Corbin Carroll sliding in there. Padres team card. Hayden Wazinski. Camilo Duval. Brandon Wu rookie. Here is probably the final baseball card of Miguel Cabrera. A wonderful career. Ryan Presley. Curtis Mead rookie card. Let's go. Look at this beautiful, beautiful card here. Oh, yeah, we're keeping that one. Matt McClain, Brent Rooker, some Braves team card here. Jake Fraley, Cabrian Hayes, Riley Green, future stars. We like that. Stephen Kwan, Ji-Hwan Bae, Jason Dominguez rookie card. Ronald Acuna Jr. This is like a blueprint. This is cool, man. I'm gonna have to see who else is in this kind of set. Vladdy Guerrero Jr. 1989 style. That's cool. Bryce Harper, stars of MLB. Jordan Lawler, stars of MLB. CJ Abrams. Nick Gonzalez, rookie. Matt Olson. Brian De La Cruz. Kevin Gausman. Jose Fermin, rookie. Bryce Harper. Michael Massey. All right, one more. Again, what do you guys think? Do you guys dig in the style of these cards? Also, they've tried to make these a little more accessible. I really haven't had a problem finding them in stores. Yeah, and again, it'd be great to get a hit. It'd be great to get an auto, but like for the most part, I just like the artwork of these cards. And you let me know what you guys are feeling on these. What's your favorite rookie card in this set? Jordan Westberg, Eduardo. Here's Michael Garcia, Tyler Soderstrom. We're starting to get. Oh, okay. Are these collated in the same? Daniel Bard, Trent Grisham, Henry Davis. Nope. Here we go. Mike Yastrzemski. We haven't seen him yet. Owen White, Rafael Devers killing it on my fantasy team. Royce Lewis. Ooh, the nuke. Luke Rayleigh. Awesome to see him. Jorge Mateo, Byron Buxton, Mikey Moniak, Walker Buehler, Adolis Garcia, Brandon Walter rookie, Manuel Valdez, Salvador Perez, another Yandy card, Jordan Balazovic, Shohei Ohtani, 2 home run and 10 strikeout game. That's awesome. Zach Geloff, 89 style rookie card. Here's Pete Crow Armstrong rookie. Jazz Chisholm Jr., Miles Michaelis, Keaton Wynn, Andrew Vaughn, Alec Boehm, New York Power, Jose Ramirez, and O'Neal Cruz. Ooh, and the last one here, Bobby Miller, Future Stars. I dig it. I dig them bringing back the Future Stars. So, yeah. Overall, let's see. I'll pull the Yandy back up here. Overall, I like the style of these cards. The team colored, kind of neon lights. That's what that really. It kind of looks like a neon sign up there. I love the photography. I think it's good. They're all centered pretty well. I haven't really been looking too hard at them, but they're centered pretty well. The print quality is really nice. I guess we didn't even look at the back of any of these. But the backs sort of just look like they always do for the last few years. Topps has sort of found a style. It's worked. They haven't changed it. Why do that? But this is a nice heritage. Is they pick a set this year. I believe it is in the 1975 set, and they make an entire. They make a whole. I mean, it's like 400 cards, 500 cards in this. I mean, it's a lot. But you're gonna see players of today in the style of yesterday. And The biggest thing is like, look, these are actually like this cardboard card style here versus like the very glossy card stock that they're using on the modern cards. I mean, these feel like the old cards if you collect them from the 60s and 70s, going into the 80s. The 90s is kind of when they stopped going and went more into this kind of modern card stock. But here you go. Here's Dusty Baker. I love it. Love seeing Dusty there. Framber Valdez, Luis Castillo, David Hamilton, rookie, Anthony Rizzo, Yankees, Josh Jung, All-Star, Colin Selby, rookie, Alex Verdugo, Brent Rooker, Angel Felipe, rookie, Brandon Nimmo. Really? Oh, here we go. Yes. Okay, so here's a Rays guy. So we'll stop here. What I love about this is faithful to the set. You've got these facsimile autographs on the card. You get a nice the baseball, just that little clip art looking baseball with the shadow on it. The Rays. Now this design is even sort of what our logo is sort of like, what our RBLR logo is sort of inspired by, with this like thick shadow on the back here. But we love that. Then on the back here, they usually always have like a nice, just like a one little liner there with all his stats. Look at that card stock. That's awesome, man. Jack Sawinski, Eddie Rosario, Brian Wu Heritage. This is numbered to 375, and it is a Brian Wu rookie card. It still has the backing of the things, but we have this kind of chrome style Heritage. That is awesome. Here's CJ Abrams. I mean, obviously that's the most probably the most valuable card that we've pulled out of these packs, but a lot of cool things here. Marcus Semien, All-Star, Joey Estes, rookie, Vidal Brujan, Rays. He plays for the we traded him away, but thanks for your service. And here's the Brian Wu regular. So just not that if you couldn't tell the difference between, there's that one. So we got a numbered card, bunch of rookies, some race cards. That's pretty awesome. And that was this week's Worthless Sports Card Breaks. So let's get into, we've opened some sports cards, and we talked about the Lightning. We talked about the NBA playoffs. The last thing I want to get into is this weekend's card. Tomorrow is one of the most high. I mean, the amount of quality that's going to be at AEW Dynasty this Sunday. If you are a professional wrestling fan and you like the wrestling part of wrestling, this is definitely going to be the card for you. I expect there to be a lot of exciting results. If you're an every week watcher of All Elite Wrestling, I think there's going to be some big storylines either ending and coming out of this. It's going to be really, really big. So let's talk about, there's going to be some stuff on the pre-show, but that's sort of the least intriguing things of all of them. But even that has like Trent Beretta, who's on a big heel turn. You might have seen me dead center the last time they were in Tampa. I was dead center in a Tampa Bay Rowdies jersey holding a turn Trent heel sign, and they finally pulled the trigger. So of course I'll be watching that. But on the main card itself, the tons of championships being defended here. First is the AEW International Championship. Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly, two lifetime partners across all promotions, best friends now. They have to fight each other. I'm hesitant to say that Kyle's gonna win, because it seems to be a little early, but I believe this is sort of the middle part of just the beginning of their story, of their rivalry for this championship. So I think Strong's going to retain, but we're going to see more of that in the future here. One match, it's probably the least interesting match to me, and that is Hook defending his FTW championship against Chris Jericho in an FTW rules match, which is just a hardcore match. They're going to use the tables and the chairs and the kendo sticks and all that kind of stuff. But the shocking thing would be for Chris Jericho to win the FTW championship, and that's sort of what I'm predicting. They've been drawing out this story. It's been the worst part of AEW in the last month or so, is sort of putting this up and coming Hook, who is the son of Taz of ECW, kind of living through his father's footsteps, now fighting one of his father's one-time rivals from ECW, and that's Chris Jericho. While Chris Jericho's pulling out this new heel mentor character, Hook does not want to be mentored by Jericho. Jericho wants to teach him a lesson. I think Jericho's going to win the championship because that's not what I would do, and so I think that's what they're going to do. Then we have a cool six-man. Adam Copeland, former Edge Hall of Famer in WWE. Eddie Kingston, the Mad King, former ROH World Champion. And Mark Briscoe, the current Ring of Honor World Champion, who beat Eddie Kingston in a friendly competitive match against the House of Black. Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews. This has an opportunity to, on a normal pay-per-view, I would say this would be the one that would steal the show. You get a lot of good, entertaining wrestlers in there. A lot of guys that can go. Malachi Black and Mark Briscoe can have or Malachi Black and Copeland, I'm assuming we'll have a really good sequence somewhere in this match. Brody King and Eddie Kingston are probably going to chop the ever-living snot out of each other's chest until it's raw. And Buddy Matthews and Mark Briscoe have a potential to do a bunch of high-flying moves against each other. And those are just the obvious things. There could be any mix of combinations that make that a very interesting match. To me, I have the good guys winning. I have Copeland, Kingston, and Briscoe going over House of Black. And with my predictions, like if you've got different predictions, drop them in the comments. We definitely want to do that. And while you're there, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And because we do this, we're going to start doing this again every week. We're going to open up some sports cards. We're going to talk some pro wrestling. And we're going to have hopefully a guest or two every week to talk about whatever is interesting. Another thing that's interesting on this card, though, a house rules match, which is just basically I guess Willow gets to pick the stipulation. I'm not sure what she had picked by now. It's probably nobody at ringside. Julia Hart will be defending her TBS championship against Willow Nightingale. The most important thing, though, is that the winner of this match, whoever is the champion, will face Mercedes Moné at the next pay-per-view, Double or Nothing, I believe. So Julia Hart's had the belt for a long time. It's done a lot of good things for her. Willow Nightingale seems to be the obvious answer to who's going to face Mercedes Moné. So I do have, unless Mercedes Moné is the reason, actually, now that I'm thinking about it out loud, I'm going to say Julia Hart retains, but it's because Mercedes Moné gets involved somehow, and that's going to create a three-way Julia Hart, Willow Nightingale, and Mercedes Moné at the pay-per-view. That's how I would book it. Continental Championship is it. Now, this is probably going to be the show stealer. There's one match that is undoubtedly going to be the best match on the show. But if it's a competition for second, Pac from England versus the one of, if not the best wrestler in the world for a long time, most debatably over the last 10 years, Kazuchika Okada, making his pay-per-view debut, I believe, to defend his Continental Championship against Pac. This will be a barn burner. I think that people sleep on Pac as a wrestler, and he's going to get his chance to shine against one of the greatest of all time. Then we have a culmination of the Tag Team Championship tournament as the Tag Team Championships are vacated after Sting's successful defense with Darby Allin, and then both of them end up, well, Darby got hurt, and then Sting retired, so they vacated the championships. Young Bucks and FTR are the two teams that are filling in. This is their third match together, and it is the first, whoever wins this match, and it is a ladder match, whoever wins this match will be the first time ever, 3-time All Elite Wrestling champion. What can you say? These are the two best tag teams in the world, and they're going to fight again. They've done it in Wembley Stadium. They've done it one other time. It's big box office, and these guys, they have great chemistry with each other. I don't know if they like each other outside of the ring, but inside the ring, the Young Bucks are a amazing heel team now, and FTR is happy to be those aw shucks baby faces, and we're going to get a war for the tag team championships. Then I would assume that after the tag team championship, you'd have the women's championship, which, no offense to Thunder Rosa and Toni Storm, but they're going to be in a position of being kind of in the popcorn match or the letdown spot or the whatever, because the last two matches are going to be the like almost double main event level. But with that said, I think that this match is going to be less of a barn burning wrestling match and more of a kind of a slower paced, more comedy elements with Toni Storm's character, kind of getting on the nerves of Thunder Rosa. I believe Thunder Rosa is going to have her 1 inch away from winning the title, and then Toni Storm will retain her championship. Oh, I guess I didn't guess. I think Okada beats Pac, and I actually think that the Young Bucks win the tag team championship. So I got Toni Storm, Young Bucks, and Kazuchika Okada winning those 3 matches. But then the double main event, this is the last 2 things we're going to talk about tonight. The double main event, I think the real main event is Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson. Will, best wrestler in the world right now. In my mind, undoubtedly. He is one with a bullet, and he is fighting Bryan Danielson, who is on his like last full-time year. It's not like a retirement tour, but it's basically like a full-time retirement tour. I believe this is going to be a candidate for match of the year. Will Ospreay is just on a tear right now. He is at his highest level that he's got. And Bryan Danielson is arguably the best wrestler of all time. I keep saying those hyperbolic things, but we're really living in a golden age of professional wrestling. And that's why I say, if you haven't been able to check out All Elite Wrestling in a while or ever, you should do it. It is the best wrestling company in the world. And that's why I'm devoting time to it here. So Will Ospreay, Bryan Danielson is probably going to be, if there's one match that you're going to live on forever after this, if it's not the Young Bucks and FTR, it might be Will Ospreay and Bryan Danielson. But the match for the title, the All Elite Wrestling World Championship, will probably be the last match on the card, and it will be Samoa Joe, who is the champion, defending his belt against the rising Swerve Strickland. I believe after that Will Ospreay Bryan Danielson match, which I think Will Ospreay wins, by the way. Will Ospreay beats Bryan Danielson. I think it's time for Swerve. I think that we've been on this ride. It's cooled down a little bit, but Samoa Joe has done his time. He has held that championship well, and I believe it is time to start the summer of Swerve, where I think the crowd's ready for it. I think everyone's ready for it. We want our first ever African-American All Elite Wrestling champion. Swerve Strickland is the coolest dude in the world. Even when he's in character, his character has literally committed crimes on television. But for some reason, he's just the coolest dude in the world, and we all love him, and we kind of understand where he's coming from. So I'm ready for the summer of Swerve Strickland, and that is who I have. Maybe not the best match of the night, because Will Ospreay, Bryan Danielson is staring us right in the face. FTR versus Young Bucks 3 is right there, and even the Okada Pac match is going to be somewhere in there. It's crazy to think that Okada and Pac is probably going to be the 3rd best wrestling match on this entire show, and that is ridiculous. So with that said, it's time to get out of here. Let's get out of the lounge. My name is Eureka Wheeler, and I really, really do hope that you give us a shot by hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button. Follow us on all social media. We are at RBLR Sports. It's right up there in the corner there. And also, get to the shop at RBLRsports.com. So let's go Lightning. Let's go Nuggets, most importantly. But else, come on, you Rowdies. Raise up, baby.
you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.